y'all start that Brokish podcast anyways? Is season 4 going to be different from the past 3 seasons? I heard through the grapevine, y'all are going to be talking about the other broken-ish here in America. Is it true? Well, I'll tell you after the dance break.
Brokers, welcome to another episode of Brokish, where we talk about the unbelievable ish this country has done to keep us broke. Now here are your hosts, Amber and Erica.
Hey, brokers. I'm Amber.
And I'm Erica.
And this payday is the first episode of season 4, y'all. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Season 4. I'm so excited, Amber.
I'm excited too, child. We back like we never left.
I know, Mama, we made it. We back for season 4. And like
Shondo glory.
Our second season together, Amber. So it's kind of like you weren't so terrible that I had to like call it. So the fact that we're still here, that's awesome.
Ain't it funny that you keep your struggle love and then the struggle love start acting like they doing you a favor, child. The pandemic is real, okay? Messing with people's minds. But anyway, Erica, I'm happy to be here with you too, sis. I'm happy to be here with you too. And we had fun last season. So much fun that I decided to come back and endure your abuse again.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you have decided you wanted to do that, Amber. It's always a lot of fun hanging out with you and, of course, hanging out with the brokers. So, we got this like new thing going on, I think, right? But before we start talking about the new thing, Amber, why don't you just we talked a little bit about it at the end of season 3, but you've had some more time since then. So just tell us what you thought about being a podcaster and Brokish specifically and kind of where your head is at.
So, the interesting thing is this came so out of left field. I still remember the day I was sitting in my office and I got...
Oh, God. Is this like a flex? Because I have an office where the rest of us are cubicle dwellers. Is that what it was?
You're a cubicle dweller because you work in a hippie office.
No.
Okay? I work at a company older than creation. The building is old, so don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But anyway, see, y'all, this is what I'm talking about. Do you see this? Struggle love. But anyway, I was in my office.
What floor is your office on, Amber? What floor are you on? This because we need the context. What floor are you on, Amber?
I work on the 37th floor.
We're on the 37th floor. You with Jesus.
Y'all, let me tell you, I'm the new kid on the block. I don't even got no window in my office, okay? I don't even got no window.
Oh, lead with that then. Okay, I take everything back.
Exactly. Why she over here trying to paint a picture that ain't even real? No window. Sis don't got a window, okay? So Delita texted me and she was like, I need to talk to you. I want to talk to you about the podcast. And I was like, oh gosh. Something I done said, I done stuck my foot in my mouth and these people is catching heat on my behalf. Lord have mercy. And so when she called me and was like, well, I'm leaving. And Erica and I thought you would be wonderful to come in and replace me. And I literally, my mouth was hanging open. I was like, oh, I don't.
She said, Erica and I? That's what she said?
She did. She said y'all had talked to some people who listened to the episode and that they had all kind of said in conjunction with y'all.
Oh, it was thick. She laid it on thick, huh?
I can't stand you. So you didn't want me, huh? Is that the thing?
No. I'm just. You know what, y'all? I'm hearing this story for the first time. So go ahead, Amber. I'm sorry.
So Delina told me that, and she was like, "Well, would you consider coming on to replace me as a co-host?" And I was like, "Well, that's so funny because I was just talking to somebody the other day and they told me I should podcast." And I was like,
look at God.
I don't know a keyboard from a monitor. So no, thank you. And I told her, if I could have a couple days to think about it, pray on it, let it marinate in my spirit, talk to the ancestors and everything.
Right.
And then I called her back and I was like, sure. And then all of a sudden, I'm in an abusive relationship. I mean, that's basically what happened. But seriously, I've had so much fun. This has been the unexpected surprise. I mean, did it add 75,250 things to my to-do list?
No.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Yes. would I trade it for the world? No. I have learned so much. And the gag is, despite all of the abuse I take from Erica, I actually like her. I like her and I'm good to her. So that has been a pleasantry for me, getting to know her more and being able to, kiki with her a little bit. So I have loved being a part of the Brokish family. And I've even gotten to meet a few brokers, like when we did the push out event back in February. I got to meet some people who listen to the podcast. So that's been cool. Y'all have been great. And I have had a fantastic time. And I'm glad to be back.
And what do you think, Amber, like about the mission of Brokish, like coming in? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
So, the odd thing is that this conversation is so necessary. And I feel like why it's necessary is in our face every day. But so few people are connecting the dots between how financial inequity shows up and the roots of how our country was established and the intentionality behind the disparities that exist in particular with finances and capitalism. And so I think it is such a wonderful way to empower people by just showing them that the everyday things you're confronting, the stuff that you heard your mama and your grandma and your aunties and uncles talking about at the dinner table, this is where it comes from. Robbing Peter to pay Paul, feeling like you can't never get ahead, right? Feeling like no matter how hard you work, you have never quite arrived at a place where you feel security. I feel like that's the thing that so many of us have heard our people talk about, things we've expressed, but we've never had a historical and an intellectual reality to ground that in, to know that it's not just you. You're not doing anything wrong, right? The system conspired to make it that way. And so I love that because I think so many of us are hard on ourselves. We have unrealistic expectations and we are constantly trying to fight against this phantom that is keeping us down. And so I love Brokish for sort of pulling back the curtain to show people what it is and why it is that way. So what did you think of last season, Erica? Getting a new co-host, starting sort of new on the journey, even though Brokish is your baby.
Yeah, so it has been nice, I think, to get to know you, Amber. So that part has been good. No, I'm kidding, of course. It's been great. You are my favorite ratchet everything, not just my favorite ratchet attorney, right? Like, you're my favorite ratchet in a bunch of different categories. So I love that. And I can tell you it has been interesting, working with a millennial because there's so much to learn, As an old person, I feel like I'm learning things from you. So I appreciate that part of it. But seriously, probably one of the most interesting things for me that happened over the past few months is that when Delina and I first conceived the idea of Brokish, we wanted to do something around money, but we're like, this is not a personal finance show. We don't want that. There are a million personal finance shows. And we want to talk about how the history of this country has really disenfranchised us, how we've been bamboozled, and how all of that stuff goes from the time we landed on the shores until today, right? And we wanted to kind of bring those things together and have those conversations. And so when we talked about like healthcare, we always struggle to go, okay, well, what's the straight line to how healthcare is costing us more money as Black people? Or how does it affect us financially? Or then we would talk about education, or we would talk about housing. And it was always, we're trying to draw the straight line back to how it affects us financially. And I had an aha moment for me, and maybe y'all are like, Amber, y'all like, Erica, that ain't an aha moment. What's the aha moment for me? And the aha moment for me was that I was like, Brokish is not just about being broke financially. It is about how for all of these systems are broken, right? And so how all of those broken systems have been created to put us in a place where we aren't meant to succeed. So it's not just about the financial inequities and the fact that there is a racial wealth gap. It's not just about those things. It's about all of these broken systems and how they all, like you said, conspire against us and were created that way, right? Like we helped to create the country that seeks to kill us. Like that is what it is. And so initially, brokerage was all about like broke, meaning, of course, broke financially. But now as I think about it, the broke is really about the broken things. It's about all the broken SHIT, right? That we all have to contend with every day. And yes, it shows up, of course, in education and healthcare and finances and work and relationships. Everywhere it shows up. And we can see sort of the fingerprints of that history, that legacy of slavery, and how all of these things have been put in place to harm us. And so I guess maybe that was clear to everybody else, but it wasn't clear to me. So I feel like the mission is broader now. I feel like, yes, we're going to continue to talk about money because that's important. And in a capitalist society, it's really central to most things. But I'm not going to stress out about whether there's a straight line to how this thing might be harming us financially. And I think now we'll just talk more about how all of these broken systems harm us in a variety of ways.
I would just like to state for the record.
Oh, gosh. There is no record, Amber. There is no record.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I would like to state for the record that I told her this 2-3 months ago. But you know, like the old people say, bought sense is better than taught sense. So she had to have an aha moment. Even though I told her that. But that's all right. I'm glad that she has come around. And so, you know, like Olita Adams said, I don't care how you get here, sis. You got here when you could.
Get it.
Okay? You got here when you could.
Really?
So welcome. Welcome. Okay?
Well, you know, most of what I appreciate right now, Amber, is not that you said welcome, but that you referenced the song that I actually know with my old self and not one of your little millennial jams. That's really what I'm happy about, because I'm not going to have to Google, now, what is she talking about and who is Olita Adams? I'm not going to have to do that because I know her.
Oh, anyway, to the point you were making about sort of all of the broken SHIT, I think one of the things that has forced us to contend with that is the fact that we're now all living in a pandemic, right? Yeah. I think COVID has become the ultimate paradigm shift, and stuff that we could ignore before is staring us right in the face.
You talking about your kids right now? I'm just trying to.
I'm talking about the fact that we got people.
Are they staring you in the face right now? I'm sorry.
This is y'all. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this abuse?
No, I'm saying we're all at home, so my kids stare me in the face all the time too.
Well, they are now. That is true. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like literally, they are staring us in the face. That's not what you're talking about. I'm sorry, Amber. Go ahead.
That's okay, but she know I'm slow, so she have to spell the joke out. That's anyway. But yeah, that is true. They are. But what I really meant is the news. The news every day. You got healthy people dying. You got people that had businesses that were thriving
gone,
that ain't got nothing now. Gone. And it's never coming back. Never coming back. And we are watching our healthcare system crumble in front of us. We are watching schools have to pivot to at-home learning. And then the aha becomes, oh, well, remember how we used to pretend like everybody had access to computers and internet? False, right? You know, oh, what about the people whose parents can't stay home, right? All the privilege that we like to pretend didn't exist, all of the disparities that we like to pretend didn't exist are confronting us now. And so I think that our evolution as a podcast is timely because we are living in the broken space. We are contending with what happens when you bamboozle people into being comfortable. So I'm glad we're going to be talking more about it because it's staring us right here in the face.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point about being comfortable, Amber, because I think for a lot of people, when we talked about some of the stuff, especially some of the earlier episodes on Brokish, where we were like, look, here's the racial wealth gap. Here's what it looks like. The median Black family has $3,400 in wealth compared to like $120,000 for the white family. And people are like, yeah, but that's not really me, though. Like, I have a good job. I'm feeling really comfortable in my home, even though I'm like, house poor. Like, let's not talk about that.
Okay.
Even though I might be saddled with student loan debt, like, let's not talk about that stuff. I'm feeling really good. What coronavirus did is she's like, look, y'all could have been feeling great before, but let me show you what. Because now you're having to try to figure out a lot of things you didn't have to. Like if you still have a job, even folks who were comfortable in their offices on the 30-something floor, right?
Cool.
A lot of us don't still have those jobs and we are having to make tough decisions. And so it's sad, but I think more folks are going to understand the message and the mission of Brokish now than before because of how the world has shifted, yes, as a result of the coronavirus.
Yeah. And I just want to say this really quickly because it's hilarious to me that I haven't been to work in so long that I told you I worked on the 37th floor. My office is on the 31st floor because I didn't even remember. But I do believe that where we are right now, being home and all of that, is Maury Povich calling the lie detective. The lie detective has determined it's a lie. Your financial security is a lie. The pretense that we've all lived under, that if you work hard, if you go to school, if you do the right thing, input equals output, right? The lie detector has determined all of that is a lie.
It's a lie.
A lie.
And at Brokish, we all about the truth. Like, because it's going to set you free. If you let it, it's going to set you free, Amber. And all we want to do is come and talk about the truth. So this season, I am excited that we're going to be talking about slavery and its history. We are, of course, going to be talking about politics. I'm sure that is the episode where we're probably going to lose some brokers. Or maybe I'll just lose friends because I think Amber and I, of course, do not have the same political views. And I think that's A-okay. But yeah, I'm probably going to lose some friends. But I think Amber's going to lose probably more friends when we start talking about like the church. That's probably, I don't know. Maybe I will.
Y'all know I stay in the corner with the church folks. I think I have more of a accepting palette when it comes to the politics because I think that our ancestors and our aunts and uncles and our grandparents, they drunk a lot of respectable Kool-Aid.
They did.
And that ain't their fault. But them church folks, my sympathy go out the window at 65 miles an hour when we start talking about the church. So y'all don't give up on me. I'm going to come out the church corner.
I don't think she's going to. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about politics. We're going to be talking about broken politics. We're going to be talking about broken churches, right? We're going to be talking about like broken food systems and how like America has just like stolen all of our farmland and stuff like that we used to have. And it was like, too bad, y'all. And so that's really, this season is all about just shining a light on those broken spaces and talking about it and trying to figure out how do we advocate again for policies that can help to remedy all of this brokenness? Like, where do we go for help? Where do we go for the remedy?
Absolutely. And I think the takeaway that's going to be overarching across each episode is that even though we are talking about things that are broader than money, what you're going to see is that it's always relating back to the financial inequity. So it might not be that straight line, but these systems of oppression conspire, right? They work together, they interlock. And so even though we might not be going from housing directly to money, I think what you'll see is that it's always relating to our security, our inability to attain that security. And it makes it abundantly clear as we sort of go from episode to episode and explore different aspects of brokenness, that American dream, child, they didn't have us in mind. They didn't have us in mind at all, period.
No. And in fact, what they had in mind was your exclusion from it. So, and Amber, when you talk about like not the straight line, but it's still being at play, y'all know America is capitalist. Like nothing that happens in this country happens without money as the backdrop. You can't have the world's best capitalist, which we are, without a backdrop of money. So that thread will continue to weave in and out of everything that we do, because that is literally the backbone of this whole country. Like, we were human capital for this raggedy country. And so, yeah, we can't not talk about money.
And the secret that they don't want us to know is that they still trying to make money off our backs. So we like to talk about being capital in the past tense, but the gag is we're not. We're not. That's why they don't pay us what we worth. That's why they want to keep us poor. That's why they want to keep us disenfranchised, because they are still profiting off of our backs every single day. And not just financially.
Absolutely. In a bunch of different ways. And for me, one of the saddest things too is that we always want to talk about, and I shouldn't say the word always because this is not true, but there are many of us who strive to be capitalists, and we want to be more capitalist than our founding fathers. And that part makes me really sad, because capitalism just wasn't meant for us. And so for us to be its biggest proponents really does make me want to cry sometimes.
Yeah. But you know what? That's what happens when you live in a broken system, because part of how we've been able to maintain this broken-ish we've lived in is that bamboozled part. So capitalism bamboozles us with marketing, with messages. And it's not just messages to the oppressors, messages to the oppressed too.
Oh, for sure.
Because if they can keep us confused and keep us believing that there's a place for us in that infrastructure, then we won't spend our time trying to fight it and tear it down. We'll spend our time trying to become a part of it. You see what I'm saying? So the bamboozle part is on purpose, because there is a marketing machine behind white supremacy designed to make us believe that it doesn't exist. I heard somebody say one time that the devil's greatest trick is not that he, convinces us that he's evil or anything, but it's that he convinces people he's not real. He doesn't exist. And that's the same thing with capitalism and white supremacy. If you can convince people that there ain't a problem, they won't spend any time trying to solve what they don't believe is there. And so for those of us who believe foolishly that there's a place for us at the table, that if we just work hard, 1 + 1 will be 2, that's because that's what they want us to believe. Because white people are not the only people who have to divest from white supremacist mindsets. We do too.
Uh-oh, we're not gonna start calling names at this point, are we?
Never.
Let's not do that, Amber.
No, this is just a welcome back party. This is just a welcome back party. We're not calling no names. We sanctify, saved, and filled with the Holy Ghost today.
Okay. But next episode, can we start talking about people?
Yes, but in love, because the Bible says do all things in love. So we're gonna do it in love.
Okay. That's what you say. I'm still getting to that. I haven't gotten to that chapter and verse yet, Amber. I'm on my way there. I haven't gotten there yet.
And she tried to paint me as the heathen because I like to pop, lock, and drop it. But you see who don't. But I pop, lock, and drop it in love.
I just want us to be able to call names, especially because you can't really talk about politics without calling names. So if we're gonna talk politics, we got to start calling names.
True that. This one she gonna lose friends, y'all.
Uh-oh. Quiet as it's kept, sound like I'm going to lose friends. I'm going to lose SARS. I'm going to lose... Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Be quieter. Be quiet. Okay. So, yeah, Amber, at the end of the day, I'm just happy. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy for my epiphany. I'm not going to let you call it nothing else, okay? That's what it was for me. And I am glad that we have a community of brokers who are going to be excited about my epiphany. So, yeah.
Erica has had an epiphany that water is wet, and we are so happy for her. And I am so excited for season 4. Shots fired. No, I'm so excited for season 4. And I think that our brokers are going to be thrilled at how we are expanding our views and going into some topics that probably we wouldn't have before under the old philosophy. So y'all, buckle your seatbelts. Buckle your seatbelts. They said the amusement parks was closed, but they not. They not, because we finna go on a ride, y'all. We finna go on a ride. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Girl, tell the brokers what they got. Tell the brokers what they got for homework, Amber. What we gonna have people do? Because we've been socialized to believe that productivity is king too. So here y'all go with homework. We can't let you go without work.
School is just starting, so we're not gonna have a lot of homework. We're gonna have that, patty cake homework that we do while everybody's still excited to be here, right? So don't worry. I was raised by teachers, so I know how to do it. So the first homework for the week is just go follow us on social media. Hop on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Y'all been around a long time. Y'all still not following us. Why? Stop it.
Yeah, you got to get your life. So look, on IG, on Instagram, we are at Brokish Podcast. No spaces, no dashes, just at Brokish Podcast. On Facebook, we are Brokish, capital BROKE-ISH. And on Twitter, we are at Brokish, which is BROKE_ISH. So we want you to follow us, and it ain't no fun if the homies can't get none. So tell 2 or 3 of your friends to do the same thing.
It ain't no fun if the homies can't help.
But she act like I'm the only one. You see?
My gosh. You took me back to 93. I told you, Amber, I had that tape and it melted in my car, girl. That's me and Snoop.
Anyway, so see, you know what? Listen, y'all's friends deserve this tomfoolery, okay? They can't go to the club. They can't do nothing. The world is closed. So tell them to get on the Brokish Podcast so they can get some of this fun in their life.
Yes.
So that's the first thing. And the second thing, y'all, is we want to hear from you. We want to know how you feel about this new viewpoint that we are embracing in season 4. So jump in the comments on Instagram, in Facebook, and on Twitter, and let us know what you think about our new Brokish philosophy, because we want to know how y'all feel about it. So that's it. Follow us on social media. Tell the homies to do the same thing. And then jump in the comments and tell us what you think about what we're doing this season.
So brokers, if it is not clear to you, we are thrilled to be back for season 4 and to have you with us. And like Amber said, it has been a wild ride and it's going to continue to be a wild ride. And so that's why we hope you'll keep standing by us as we tackle these tough subjects and face a bunch of really challenging realities. And y'all know we don't descend from a people who were meant to be killed and then be the kind of folks that are going to shy away from making sure we know all about the legacy and how it continues to rob us today, right? The core mission of Brokish is unchanged in that our focus and heart is for Black people and how we get free. We stand on that and on the shoulders of our ancestors who've already carried us a long way and did not die for us to lose. So thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to catching up with you on the next episode of Brokish.
All right, good people. Thanks for listening to Brokish. For more episodes, visit us at brokish.com or subscribe, and Brokish will get direct deposited into your favorite podcast app on the 1st and 15th. Share Brokish with your friends and join the conversation on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Music for Brokish is Come Get Some by Blank and Kit. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.